Introducing Crusher 8 trading signals on John Deere. I wanted to introduce the concept of Crusher 8, but also with John Deere. Now, first of all, you may be thinking, if you haven't looked at John Deere in a while, John Deere, that sounds like the most boring stock ever. Uh, right? Tractors and stuff, man. Yeah. But if you've been paying attention to the charts, John Deere has been flying around, moving bigly all over the place. And yes, this stock is a bit more expensive, at least to this point in time. But as we all learned, back in the old internet stock days, uh, cheap options trading maybe wasn't always the best way to go to make the most money. And what do I mean? Well, we found back in 1998, 99, 2000 that some of us old school options traders, that uh, just because an options price was jacked up massively due to volatility and speed of price action movement, that doesn't mean it wasn't playable. So what we need to do is we need to look at the stock and its ability to move around on average. And for the particular style or strategy we are playing, we need to look to see how dependable that strategy is, how frequent does it actually move and follow through, and how consistent that is, how much it follows through each time, and get a bread and butter type of average, and then go look and contrast that to the options chain, from short-term weekly options to longer-term options to shorter-term in-the-money options to even shorter-term out-of-the-money options. Can this stock put in the moves to move well past my strike deep into the money if we start out the money? And can it move to produce the very large profits that you and I want? So we have John Deere here, and John Deere is such an instrument. Let's just pop up a chart real quick. All right, you can see here we're using TradingView charts, and John Deere, and DE is the symbol. And you can see what you want to look at here is the grid. This is a 10-point grid. Look how fast this stock is moving around. A tractor stock, okay? Now, they are involved in some advanced stuff. They're testing out various different inventions and concepts of automated farming. And let's go pop over here to some options chains. This is a week out, right? And we can see the prices. Now, there are all sorts of general canned philosophies on weekly options and telling you, oh, don't buy short-term weekly options because premium decay is so fast. But that's just half the story. And so why is it half the story? Because if we can match up our purchase of the options to a move in the stock based off of a price action, price chart trading strategy with a momentum burst type of method, okay, that has an exact entry, exact stop loss, an exact profit taking exit mechanism, then we can even buy very short-term weekly options and do extremely well. Because if you can buy an option that is relatively low priced relative to the speed of the movement of the stock on average, well, then on a short-term weekly option and hit a move, well, you can make a lot of money, and a lot more money versus going out further in time. And when you go out further in time on John Deere, things get expensive very fast, right? So it's a mix and match with options trading in terms of buying calls and buying puts. Now, on the sell side, well, John Deere is pretty expensive. That's a lot. If you're just going to sell naked options, that's a lot of money you're putting up and John Deere moves around so wildly. Let's get back to the charts here. So let's say, and we have different types of systems, signal services too. You may want to also start looking into our trading systems. So just look at John Deere again. Look how it's able to move around 10, 20 points, 30 points, no problem. And so let's go back to the options. I'm using optionistics right here just for a nice, quick, clean options chain versus some of these other sites like NASDAQ, a mess. Of course, you have your own options broker. It's probably, but for a quick reference, this is a good one. Okay, let's just say, and I'm not saying that we're using 1 week to expiration options with Crusher. We have to find the best option fit to the trade, to what's available, and we'll provide that in the trading signal. Okay, but just for a picture, it's because it's good to look at and get a feel and a picture for the opportunity. Let's say, okay, what if we had a 20-point move? Bought some calls, okay? 10, 20. So these 740s could go up here to 415, 405, 395. So to 2275. Okay, so that's a very good percent gain, right? But it's also a lot of points. So if you have 10 contracts, for example, your advance 22 minus, so roughly 15,000 bucks. Of course, you have to go look at any sort of details in terms of premium decay, how many days it takes to get there, and how much premium's left here. But I'm not going to get into that because then this video keeps going on and on. But those are some factors you want to look at. But just to get a quick ballpark and advancement of price, hey, wow. So that gives a perspective of if we can hit these moves on a repeated basis on average, then that's great. But that's just 1 week to expiration, and then you would start to compare. Okay, first of all, where is the price now? It's 417.42, so 2.42 points in the money if we're looking at the 415 strike. So we can consider that, and that'll help us get into the higher deltas quickly if we go in the money. But then if we do expect potential bigger moves, then we have to ask, all right, how much out of the money, how far out of the money can I go, and what's my average hold time? So then these factors you look at, and you start to get a picture and a feel. And, over time, you'll perfect your options choices. Okay, but with the signal service, let's just go take a look at some of the performance samples here. Okay, have it to May 1st. We'll need to just update it to the point of this video. I just saw we didn't have a John Deere video. So anyways, you can get a picture. Look at CRUSHER8. This is real. Okay, this is real. These are real exact system trades all in a row, nothing skipped. Right? It's no use for anyone to skip a trade or optimize a presentation of a track record, right? Especially as a signal service. That doesn't make any sense, does it? All right, so we can see here, CRUSHER8 is a special system, right? And in this case, we have all winners. That's not to say you're going to have all winners in the future. Some got carried away, but it did pretty well here, all right? And so this is a picture. I mean, just what if you could start pulling in these types of moves? These types of moves usually last from a week to 2 weeks, right? Sometimes they'll go 3, and that usually means that we're extra lucky. But we have this method. We give you the entry. We give you the stop loss, risk. You can use the stop loss. You can factor in your max risk through your position sizing. You can do different things, but we'll give you the entry based on a price point. We'll give you the stop loss based on a price point. And then as we're in the trade, we're going to go through the process of running the trail stop. And sometimes we have an optimized exit point. And these aren't optimized exit points. Those weren't included here. Otherwise, the track record would be bigger. But in the signal service, what we're going to start doing with CRUSHER8 as well as a system is when we have these extreme support and resistance points, we're going to look to go grab the dough and go. All right, we're going to have a price target, and that's on occasion. Sometimes it's not prudent to try to grab a quick early profit at any sort of support and resistance point because it's better to let the move go here. But CRUSHER8 targets explosive moves. It targets when the markets seem like they're going one way, but then they collapse the other way, collapse upwards or downwards, collapse upwards, rocket upwards, whatever word you want to use. All right, so these are the signals. You don't have to trade, a ton of money. You don't have to trade them all. You can just watch and learn. But wow, what if you're able to start stacking these types of results? And of course, we all hope we get 100% winning in the future. But you got to keep the perspective. Any stock can change its character and behavior. At any time, it can phase in to some new sort of behavioral pattern and the way it moves about, especially if it has like a stock split, right? But we have to deal with what we have now. And a lot of the times when we're maybe a little overly concerned about a stock changing its behavior, these stocks have performed with the same or very similar character and in their own cycles over time for years and years and years and years and years. So sometimes we can be overly concerned about that too, but we want to have the proper perspective in trading because we want to stick to something consistent over time and not get emotional and blow ourselves out. Because the big money in trading is having a consistent thing and then compounding profits over time, right? Remember that. That's the key to wealth from the markets. Most traders they're just too overpowered by emotions and they don't treat the marketplace seriously. So, they don't have a plan, they don't have the goals, and they don't have this concept of the consistency and the compounding of the trading account, like Warren Buffett always talked about in the past. All right, so anyways, this is CRUSHER8 on John Deere. I hope that you can take advantage of the CRUSHER8 system by signing up for these signals. And that's it for this overview and introduction of CRUSHER8 on John Deere.